off, what had we been doing? The party being on their long-ass quest to find all the pieces to create a magical item that would allow them to, in case of emergency, lock a betrayer god away. Had been traveling throughout the Dreamseep Marsh in search of a black dragon to find a scale. They found the dragon, and the dragon wasn't so much looking for a fight, but instead was trying to maybe make a deal. And said you could have a scale if you took out an old enemy, a younger blue dragon who had injured it years ago. You, in an uncharacteristic, somewhat fit of magnanimity, I guess? I don't know. Decided that you weren't going to try to kill this beast, and instead that you would, well, take it up on its offer, hoping that it would keep its word. You made your way back to Braunbog, settled up some loose threads, and then decided you were going to... Well, first you actually killed a bullet and took its carapace, possibly to make some armor out of. But you decided in the end that you were going to go back to Singorn and try to track down a blue dragon that you think might fit the description of the one the black dragon is looking for. In fact, one that you had briefly met and traveled with in its humanoid form. A dragon named Frithis. You had last seen it in the city of Singorn and are now going to teleport back. However, in the midst of teleporting back, you found yourself seemingly sucked into you don't know where, but it seems that billowing dust is blowing around you, wind whipping your cloaks, and kind of an orangish sheen to everything. And in fact, as you look around, the five of you see that each of you is silhouetted in this kind of orange glow. Even the metal child. The metal child, as it so happens, seems to be holding in its arms a ghostly form, it looks like, of maybe a human, bound in this glowing sapphire chains with a gag over its mouth as well. Yeah, so that's where you are. What would you like to do?
Where are we? What just happened? Does anybody recognize this place?
You're the one that teleported us, correct?
Oh yeah. I'd say I go back over in my head the runes, the sigils that I wrote down for that teleportation circle, kind of double checking my math.
Okay. Make an Arcana check real quick.
And what is the metal child holding?
It looks like he's holding the form, kind of ghostly in form. All of you, in fact, seem slightly see-through now that you take a closer look. But he seems to be holding a human in plain clothes, bound in chains that look like they're glowing sapphire in color, and it's just kind of holding it, looking surprised in its arms.
Oh.
Kind of cradling. Yeah.
Okay, I got a 24.
24. You've only been teleporting, well, not teleporting, but, moving between transportation circles for a little bit. But you have an idea of what may have happened. It seems that something has pulled you off course. The orange glow that seems to be around everybody, you recognize as some descriptions of projections of astral self.
Metal child, this is no time to be going to the gift shop. Put it down and we need to go.
The metal child looks down, looks up at you, and shakes their head.
I'll ask him in Draconic what he's holding, I guess.
The metal child says, well, actually, the metal child doesn't speak, so just kind of shrugs at you. In any
All right, I
case,
just know what happened.
wait, what's going on? We got multiples going through.
The metal child's the only one carrying anything.
Yep. Everybody else seems to have everything they usually do. It's just that you're all slightly see-through and kind of a glow around you. And the wind and dust that seems to be billowing and whipping around you, all around, just kind of this low moan in the background. Like I said, it's kind of whipping through your cloaks and things like that, although not as much as you'd expect it to. It seems like... Yeah, go ahead.
Maybe you should unteleport us, and we should try again.
Well, I think I know what happened. Yeah, we got pulled into the astral plane on our way. I don't know what did it, but
Does this mean that we have died because the teleporting went bad?
well, I wouldn't say we're dead. We're on the astral plane.
I'm gonna try to poke people to see if they're solid. I'm very confused.
I mean, as you go ahead and maybe poke Chomp over to your side, you can touch Chomp. Although,
Hey, watch it.
what are you saying?
She poked me and I said, "Hey, what do you watch it?"
Yeah, I don't like it here.
Yes, I would agree with Crom. I do not like it here. We should leave.
Undo it.
Me.
Let me see if I have enough chalk. I guess I can start trying to try it again. But
So,
I could dispel magics. Would that undo your maybe wonky teleportation?
well, what if... Okay, so if Rope Trick opens up to the astral plane...
Pocket dimension.
Pocket dimension. I'm out of ideas.
I'm gonna go over and examine the burden that my adopted metal boy has.
Yeah, sure. Make. I mean, what do you want to? You're examining it. Yeah, roll an investigation check just to see, like, looking up close at this figure, and go ahead and make that roll. What are you saying, Sean?
I'm gonna ask the metal child if it recognizes what it's carrying.
All right. As Zippel walks up to the form and kind of is looking around and kind of poking around, you asking the metal child. The metal child nods their head. They know what they're carrying.
Okay. This is Stretch. Is that you?
The metal child cocks their head and slowly nods a little bit. Like it thinks that this is true, but also unsure.
Yeah, didn't we power Metal Child with soul gem, an occupied soul gem? I bet that's the occupant.
Is the occupant reacting to anything we're saying?
I mean, the occupant, like I said, who is bound in these sapphire-colored glowing chains and has like a kind of a gag of the same color over their mouth, is just kind of watching confusedly. But it kind of reacts to what you're saying.
I'm gonna go over and try to ungag it
Okay.
and tell it not to scream. I'm gonna let this loose, but don't scream.
As you go over to try to ungag, you find it looks just like simple cloth, albeit glowing in this kind of bluish purple glow. When you reach out to touch it, you find that it's almost like you can feel it, but you can't actually grab it. It's your hand almost slides off.
Okay. Go for it.
I was gonna mentally talk to. Well, I guess it doesn't really matter. No, I'll mentally talk to Chomp and see if he has any kind of spell that can maybe determine if it's I don't know, negative towards us. Like if we were to set it free, if that would be a bad idea. I don't know.
Let's see. I can respond to you, right? Mentally or no?
No.
Okay.
Unless you know how to do that.
Nah.
It's a cool trick, being able to talk to somebody without talking.
I can. I don't believe I have a spell currently ready that would, like, determine if he's friend or foe.
It's a good question. Roland. Are you there, Margaret?
I'm trying.
Oh, there you are. Okay,
The right
gotcha.
button.
All right, cool. So, as everybody else has kind of started to gather around the middle child, trying to figure out who this or what this figure that they're holding is, you've been kind of standing back, kind of quietly looking around. Could you roll a perception check real quick?
Sure. $13.
Okay. Like I said before, the seeming billowing dust blowing around and just general wind noise around you kind of ebbs and flows, kind of obscures a lot of things, but you swear maybe 20, 30 yards distant through the blowing detritus and sand or dust or whatever this is, you swear you catch a sudden glimpse of just a lone figure kind of standing.
I'm gonna tell the other people, and I'm gonna pull out my longbow.
Okay.
I have had an idea. I am going to point one of my claws at the bound figure, and I am going to say, "Explain," and I'm going to try to use command on it.
Okay. I mean, the figure doesn't necessarily know you, so what's the DC?
17, 18, something like that.
All right. And is that a wisdom?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, as you cast the command spell, forcing your will, like, outside of your own mind and into theirs, you see the eyes widen a little bit. And you've gotten a closer look at the figure. It seems to have kind of really close shorn, almost shaved head, simple robes. And as the eyes widen, it kind of tenses up and starts looking around and looks at its hands and just kind of gestures up at you with its bound hands with chains wrapped around them, like as if this explains what you're trying to what you've asked them to explain.
Don't look at us. We didn't do it. The big one tried to get you free already, and we couldn't. So, I mean, somebody thinks you're a bad person.
Maybe.
But maybe we did do it. Did you confirm that it is the soul that was in the soul gem?
Oh, I was just speculating.
Oh, okay. Do you want to check?
I mean, you could make an Arcana check to see if you think that would
Yeah, I'll do
that would be
Yeah.
plausible.
Also, I'm not so sure we could power Metal Child if we were to somehow free. That is.
Yeah, I got a 18 Arcana.
18 Arcana. I mean, it is plausible. From the little bit you know of the capturing of sentient souls, things like that, there is quite a bit of energy both in the capturing of and in the soul itself, if it is stored in something. So, and you know that there, you know, the Metal Child is being powered by the soul. You also know that there was a soul in the gem. I mean, when it went in. So it's one seems to lead to another here, for sure.
Y'all, I hate to interrupt while we're all looking at at this thing, but there's a figure off about 30 yards away from us.
Is it moving toward us, or is it just standing there?
That's a good question.
Yeah. Well, as Roland turns to you and tells you this, you all look over, and you see a figure standing about 10 yards from you.
Oh.
You can now get a better look at it, Roland. It seems it's a figure just in this long, deeply hooded cloak. In this kind of orangish light, it's hard to tell what color the cloak is. Maybe something like a dirty off-white, maybe. You're not sure, but it's kind of billowing out behind it. Although you can't see into the hood of the cloak, as it's been pulled all the way forward and it's fairly deeply hooded.
Does he look like the same one that was there when we got the other dragon? One in the icy area? That guy?
Oh.
Yeah.
Roll a perception check to see if you can see.
Also, while she's doing that, I want to draw my great sword.
All right, my perception was a 16.
Okay. I mean, it could be. The cloak it's wearing seems to be similar enough. And as you watch, as you all are kind of turning, Crom taking out her greatsword from over her shoulder, getting ready, as a kind of a gust of wind and a little bit more dust blows apart, suddenly the figure is right next to you. Almost like there was a skip in a frame of movie. And the figure says, "Hello. I've brought you all here to decide if you are going to be helping me." And you do recognize the voice of Azatur Kaiwan, the same what is the word? The same
Jagoff?
the same banished figure who had contacted you earlier in their own my brain just blanked on things.
He came and walked through Leopold's tiny hut and was like, "Hey, I got a job for y'all. We're kind of in the middle of something, dude."
That is the same one. But yes, but it wasn't actually him. It was just an astral projection. That was what I was looking for. And it seems now that he has drawn your own astral projections out of you during your teleport and brought you here, wherever here is. Looking at you, he and you can tell he's looking, although here in this kind of strange place, and you can tell it's him. You can see just the bare outline of a face inside the deep hood. He says, "I'm sorry to have waylaid you here, but, well, it's important, you see, to me to return to your plane. I have things to do, discuss, things like that. And you had not really given me an answer the last time.
You know, no answer is as good as a negative answer.
Well,
Take a hit. Take a hit, dude.
Honestly, we've been really busy.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, we pretty much forgot about him.
I mean, he kind of. I mean, let's be honest. Is he a priority for us?
no.
He might become one.
Yeah, why were we gonna help you again?
well, I can give you information, knowledge. I was banished during a time when magic, technology, things like that were much more advanced than you are experiencing now. If you remember the bargain I offered, all
Nope.
the knowledge I can give you for your help in bringing me back to the material plane.
Yeah. This guy said that he was working on like a super weapon to destroy a god or something. And then when they were locking the guy away, he got locked up too. And we were like, we're going to sleep. Goodbye.
I seem to
Okay,
remember our research on him that nobody liked him, and there might be a really good reason.
Yeah, I think we
Yeah.
determined that he wasn't a good guy per se, but he was being honest with
Yeah.
his offer, but that he's not good.
Ayuna said that if we help him, it won't make things better or worse.
Be different bad.
It's just different kind of bad.
He did not pass the live check.
True. Yes.
He's got a bad energy.
But maybe he could help us find the blue dragon. I don't know how confident we are.
I mean, have we learned our lesson from making deals?
I mean,
You just keep making more of them, to be honest.
Yep.
That'd
Yeah,
be
so this is either what we do or we've decided it's not good and we don't do it anymore, or what? I don't know.
This is like that thing where you start off with a penny and you trade up until you get a house.
Oh, I love that game.
what?
I'll tell you about it later.
But I mean,
I thought it was.
this man is not helping us meet our goal. If anything, he's keeping us from the blue dragon because he's taking us to another plane of existence. Because he wants to be able to wiggle his toes again.
He holds up a hand as you say this and says, well, that's just so you understand. Where you are right now isn't so much a place as an experience. And in fact, this whole conversation will, when you return to your plane, have taken place in less than the time it takes me to blink.
Can you tell us what is going on with that dude in his arms?
He looks over and says, you have one of these now. I was never a fan, but they were popular enough in my day. It looks like he kind of seems to crane his neck a little bit. It looks like you've trapped a soul and powered a automaton with it. Bravo.
Well, we can't take credit for trapping the soul. We've kind of found it that way.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I'm not sure that's ethical, but
We're just using it.
Yeah.
all right then.
I mean, I don't think you are the person to get up on the soapbox and talk about ethics.
Well, you have to understand, during the calamity, the gods were rampaging across the earth, killing hundreds of thousands of sentient beings at once. Something had to be done.
I mean, it just sounds like typical god stuff. You know, it's what they do.
Well, I'd rather they didn't.
Sounds like a little big for your britches, but go on.
Well, let me show you what I could offer you. And as he gestures over to you, each of you suddenly sees the kind of dust clouds around you kind of coalesce into an image outlined in this orangish glow in front of you. Chomp, you see these amazing feats of biotechnology and like grafting limbs from one creature onto another, and flying machines of amazing speed and power. Zipple, you see the small figure of Azatur, the same person you're talking to, alongside the towering figures of both the Knowing Mistress and what you recognize as the Dawnfather, as Pelor, your own god, seems to be in conversation with them. Cirthus, you see huge libraries in these cities that seem to stretch like to the horizon. Roland, you see these powerful, elegant weapons capable of killing a specific person at hundreds of miles away. Crom, you see orange lightning and storm clouds above a mountain range, and just generally ominous.
That's not fair.
Well,
No, I think we'll help him.
Your visions suck, old man.
Chomp says, "Shut up and take my money."
as the visions each clear from each of you, it seems that the figure of Azatur looks at you, Crom, for a second and kind of frowns, but then turns back to the rest of the group in general and says, I understand you have matters to attend to, but the faster that you can help me, the faster that I can get to sharing this with you.
And do we know how to help him?
I
He
mean,
wants us to go to the island.
I have others with me.
Yeah, go blow it out your ass, old man. I do not care for you.
he says,
If you can help us do our other missions.
in any case, think on it. But no, you are not the only ones that I am courting for assistance.
Classic salesman tactic.
Yeah, does this not seem like some kind of pyramid scheme to all of you?
I think if he's harassing other people too, they, just go bother them.
He looks at you as you say this, Roland kind of shrugs and waves his hand at you, says, all right. And as he waves his hand at you, you all feel as if you're being pulled backwards this time. Instead of from the navel, from almost like the base of the spine, as if you were folded in half and just pulled back through all of existence over an unimaginable distance before you stumble forward onto the familiar stones of the Tower of Uruk. The huge construct in the middle of the Singorn city, where you're familiar enough. You've come in and out of this chamber before. But some of the guards that are sitting nearby in this chamber around the teleportation circle kind of start for a second, look at you and say, oh, you. And the one guard that first spoke says, go fetch Usu. Tell him his pets are back.
Sorry.
And
We forgot to go ahead.
And the other guard kind of nods and runs off.
Oh god, that man is so annoying.
Can I
Yeah.
have my sword when he says pet?
I mean, what do you want to do? You want to draw your sword?
Oh, no.
No, I don't want to draw it. I just want to put my hand on it and glare at him.
Oh yeah, of course. You want to make an intimidation check on that? An intimidation roll?
Sure. Okay. Let's see. 15.
15. I mean, yeah. As you kind of glare at the senior guard there that has stayed in the room with you, he kind of frowns at you, tilts his head a little bit, shifts uncomfortably in his armor, doesn't put a hand on his sword because he doesn't have one, as the verdant guard inside the towers of Urek, the spires of Urek, tend to not carry weapons, but are instead well-trained battle arcanists. And but waiting a couple more minutes, the door once again opens, and in enters the familiar smooth-bald visage of Usu, the priest of the Platinum Dragon, who you've known for a while now. His kind of bushy gray eyebrows perpetually frowning at you as he says, "Well, you're back. Did you obtain the Black Dragon scale that you were after?"
In a way.
Okay. Could anybody else explain?
We have received a promise of payment upon delivery.
He kind of relaxes back, his shoulders drop, and he just kind of pinches the bridge of his nose and says, payment on delivery. I'm taking that to mean you've made a deal with a black dragon.
Yep.
All right. Come with me. And he just quickly turns his robes kind of whipping out behind him as he turns into the hallway. You all following?
Yeah.
All right. So, following him through the hallways of the tower, this tower of the Spires of Urek, it's hard to ever get a kind of a pinpoint on how it's laid out, and often it seems that each of the spires is much bigger inside than it should be from the outside. But once again, you see bits of the kind of, this is the transportation hub near the first few floors of the tower. And you see a few different doors go by. You even recognize a few of the runes, Chomp. On the doors you recognize the rune for Iman. You recognize even the rune for the secret circle in the Cobalt Vault in Vasselheim that you all have discovered. But eventually, winding up a few stairs, a few levels into the tower, you find yourselves in the cozy and familiar study of Usu here in this tower. And as he settles kind of in behind a small desk to the side, paper scattered about, different objects and things, he takes a deep breath, sighs, and says, "Tell me about it. What are we looking at now?"
Let's see. I don't think we have any. We don't have any other items on the shopping list since the last time we were here.
Spider.
Yeah, I mean, we still need a bunch of stuff, but I think last time we were here, we dropped off like a red dragon
We
scale.
did get a scale. We did a thing.
That is true. That is true.
We're working on it.
Yeah, we're actually on our way to search out a blue dragon.
Well, that's good. Is this part of the deal you made then?
Yep.
Yep, and in
Of course.
addition, it was something that we were gonna need to do anyway.
Oh, all right. Well, I suppose that's better than you dying. Well, I mean, there's possible good news. It seems that a small expeditionary force a ways up north may have had a run-in with a white dragon. We're waiting to see and hear if they might have found a scale. So you may not have to go after a white. So that's good.
Oh yeah, a little help. That's nice.
But, I mean, well, there's... let me catch you up. There's been news. The siege of Iman has finished. Apparently, the hobgoblins, the Iron Authority, have suddenly retreated. We don't know why.
That is a trap.
I mean, one would think, but they continue to retreat. They're most of the way back to their capital at this point. Almost out of Singhorn territory. Oh gosh. Oh, the archivists have gotten a hit on your Azatur character. Apparently he was a minor noble during the time of the Calamity. An Arcanist experimenter. His family estates were somewhere in a city that doesn't exist anymore, named Carcosa. Apparently sank beneath the earth during a major battle between gods. Very fun. In any case, he went missing during a battle to lock away Thera's Dune, so it's possible that this individual that has tried to contact you is maybe worth sussing out a bit.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Oops.
I mean, well, oops. I'm sorry, what?
Nothing.
Alright.
Well, I mean, he just tried to pull us into the astral plane and was like, hey, how come you guys aren't working for me yet? And then we all kind of told him off.
Yeah, we said.
No, I'm down with it.
Look off. Okay. Yep. We're gonna do it.
I'm not. I'm neither down with it nor planning to do it.
Uh-oh.
But didn't you didn't like what he showed you?
No, I mean, he's like, oh, look at me, I'm as tall as the gods. And I do not trust the man. Or the ghost of the man, whatever the case may be. I would like to take his heart and burn it.
You know, just wanted to, as an aside, as a group, all of you are very, how do I say this?
Awesome.
Beautiful.
That's not, you know what? Let's move on. In any case.
Talented, intelligent,
Strong.
Moving
strong.
on.
Yeah.
Coming into large sums of money to dedicate temples to.
Not that I know of. Also, I run my own temple.
We
Thank you.
totally rock more than anyone you've ever met.
Obviously, yes. And in any case, you, pointing at you, Zipple, you had you said a vision, huge stone rings, island somewhere off the coast.
Yes.
We have also, this does meet the descriptions of the birthplace of the Divine Gate.
What? Okay. Let's. Okay. The Divine Gate.
So,
Meaning.
you would know just based on the little bit of studying, like, I'm not even going to have you make a check for this. It's a fairly kind of theology 101 thing in this world. Divine Gate is the mesh that the prime deity is created to keep all gods from entering the material plane. Basically, it's an incredibly powerful construct, and what he's saying is that the stone rings you're talking about sound like the place where they actually created it. So it's a place of great power.
If this island is a place designed to keep gods from entering this plane, I do not trust that the terrible ghost man wants us to go there.
Well, it is a powerful place in many aspects. I would caution you about trying to seek it out. I've never heard of anybody coming back from such an expedition. Not many have tried.
Oh, we have to do it then.
Also,
Do it.
There is a
Okay, maybe later.
there is a vague story of a guardian in place, as with many of
What-
these things.
What sort of a guardian?
The stories do not say.
I'm guessing it's going to be a fairly large one.
I mean, this is a place that is meant to keep out the gods. I imagine they wanted it protected. In any case, moving on, he kind of shuffles through the notes on his desk, moving a whole stack over, finds one piece of paper, looks at it for a second, drops it, finds another. Yes, he points over at Crom. Could you please draw your sword?
Oh, yeah.
May I, just for a moment?
Which one? The biggest one? I don't know.
The large chunk of metal that has had a connection to the Chained Oblivion.
Oh, yeah. That would.
You're
Okay.
terrified.
Sure. You're gonna give it back then.
Oh yes, of course. I just wanted to examine it. I've been doing some study myself on things like this, and it is of interest to me. May I, though?
Yes.
And as he takes it over, he kind of gently places it down on the stacks of paper here. Looking it over, kind of puts a hand out over it, mutters a few words. There's a slight glow for a second. Kind of sits back thoughtfully and says, well, it seems maybe what I was thinking is correct. There are things in this world left over from the divergence when the gods were separated from our world. I believe this may be one of them, a vestige of the divergence. Possibly, considering its connection to Thayer's Dune, I think this might be one of the 6 actual magical anchors scattered throughout the material plane that keep the Chained Oblivion bound at the bottom of the abyss.
What?
It had a direct line to him, and while it seems to have been contained and, as you say, replaced with some power from Ayun, yes, she was one of the 2 prime deities who locked Thayer's Dune away. So, my hypothesis here is that this is one of is a vestige and is in fact an anchor for the chains. One of 6, to be exact.
I am so awesome right now.
That being said, you need to be careful with this.
Yeah.
If this fell into the wrong hands, well, that would be that much more influence of the Chained Oblivion released back into the material plane.
Okay.
And also, that is to warn you that as you all have been chasing after cults and things of that nature of the Chained Oblivion, they may be aware of you and of this. Just be careful, really, overall.
I gotcha. I get it. I'm gonna take care of it.
Speaking, though, of the cults, he rustles around a little bit, just shuffling things around, and a small note comes out. Yes, a small bit of cult has been broken up here in Singorn, in the city, actually. I'm not sure exactly. It seems very similar to the large cult that has sprung up in Amon, as well as some other cities across Taldore, in Wildmount, several other continents. Well, they mention things like a king they are waiting for, a coming chaos. They ask questions if you've seen their sign. They draw their sign in many places. Recently they've been creating a lot of chaos, and in fact, in the southern parts of the city recently, they started a riot at a tavern of ill repute. In fact, there's a few of them right now in our dungeon, along with just some other riffraff that we picked up. But in any case, it had occurred to me you might want to speak to some of them. Maybe we suss some things out. We could figure out what's going on.
Zippo will like grab his mace and be like, "Yes, let's go speak to this cultist of the bad guy."
Yeah, and I might have a question later for you about where are the other magical anchors and how can I have them?
Oh, well, that is the thing. No one knows where more than one of them is. It was kind of done that way between the followers of all the prime deities. They're supposedly scattered about just to keep things safe.
I wonder, Crom, if the sword would know, like a dowsing rod, you know, like to seek its fellows.
If they want to be together, they might want to be scattered.
Yeah.
I don't know. They might repel each other. I don't know.
Y'all are just making something.
Yep.
Usu looks back and forth between you as you're talking about this and kind of looks concerned. Says,
Okay, we will protect it. It's fine.
yes, maybe just protect it. I'm not sure it would be a good idea to try to bring them into the same place, as if they were all broken at the same time. Well, the god of chaos and madness would be released into the material plane, and it took...
You really should have led with that, then.
Well, I mean, that's why he's chained away. He is the chain
Dragon
of
Balls.
Oblivion.
The Dragon Balls.
Dragon Balls?
Dragon Balls.
Dragon Balls? I mean, we're looking
No,
for
Dragon
scales.
Scales.
What are you looking for?
Oh, I don't know. Nothing. It's a legend I heard of one time.
Yeah.
In any case. Shall we go down? We have the cells beneath, in the catacombs. And we have at least a few of them. Although many of the cultists seem to have started disappearing. We're not sure where to. But there are fewer and fewer of them on street corners, things like that.
No big loss.
Oh. Do these cultists need to be alive after we get through talking to them?
I mean, he kind of stutters for a second.
I'm gonna take that as a no.
To
To be fair, I was planning on burning their homes.
I don't know if we could allow that. It's just things, sanitary code, things like that.
Are you saying that you do not respect my religious beliefs enough, Uzo?
Well, let's go talk to the cultists.
I assume they are awaiting trial and they're not convicted and sentenced to death. I don't
Well,
want to
no, and they haven't necessarily done anything. No one died in the riot. You have to understand. They're not necessarily convicted. In fact, they won't even admit that they worship Tharizdun, which is often the case in his cults. He tends not to come out as himself. It's always under the guise of some other thing.
I'm not immediately on board with thinking they deserve death. But yeah, let's go talk to him.
Oh, Chomp, I'm just bored.
Zippo is just like swinging his mace and whistling as we are going down to the cultists.
Okay. All right. Heading down through, once again, parts that you had already been through, and then even deeper past the first level, which has kind of this large lobby area that you had first come into when you first came to Singhorn. Down even a couple layers underneath the ground, you come to a cold but fairly well-made, one of the cleanest dungeons you've ever seen. A heavy verdant guard presence down here, much more armored. Many of them down here with swords, sometimes more than one. And more than a few of the cells seem to have either a single person or sometimes small groups of people in them. And walking along back a ways, Usu leads you to a cell with a single gnome inside, kind of in bedraggled clothes. On one side of the cell to the next cell over, it seems that they have an actual dark elf, a drow, seems to be just kind of up against the wall, arms crossed, staring out, kind of eyes almost glowing, watching you. That's over on the right side. On the left side, you see this just slightly bedraggled looking, angry looking dwarf, heavily muscled, a little bit scarred in the face, eyes kind of just staring at you, kind of flat face. But as Usu kind of raps on the bars in front of the gnome in the center, he says, "Hey, you, sir, wake up. We have some questions for you." And as the gnome comes up, he says, "Well, have you seen the yellow sign? Have you seen the yellow sign? Is he here?" And Usu looks back at the rest of you and says, "Well, do you have any questions for him?"
I think we've heard of the yellow sign before. That was another name for, what was it? Somebody? We're looking up in our notes.
I have notes, but just keep going.
Oh.
Do you have any questions for him?
This guy obviously crazy.
Well,
Are you guilty of serving death?
serving death? No, I want to live forever. You have to see. I'm following the last king.
Who is the last king?
The king in yellow, the feaster from afar. You have to. He's coming.
How does he grant you eternal life?
He lets us. He let us ascend with him, and we'll all be alive and dead, but also alive.
I'm not sure we're gonna get anything useful out of this guy.
Are you sure?
Also, I'm going to kill this one.
Well, I don't know. At this point, you hear kind of a clearing of the throat from over at your left.
We will get to killing you.
You're talking to the wrong cultist if you want answers.
And the dwarf.
There's a guy who sounds, yeah, like he can speak something useful, cognizant.
Usu looks over and says, "Oh, this one. He was brought in as part of, like I said, during the riot. There were others involved, and he was, well, one of them."
I just kind of shrug and wrong place, wrong time. What can I say?
Well, do you have anything? I'm at a loss. What do you think we should do?
Oh, if it's answers you seek from these cultists, yeah, I could get them for you if you let me out of here.
We can get them for him too without letting you out of here.
Yeah.
And also, I motion towards them and shrug.
Sorry, that broke up right there. What was that?
I said I kind of just hold my hands out and shrug and
Okay.
kind of like, well, go ahead then.
So you're not one of the cultists?
No.
Yes, you are.
You have to tell us if you are.
Well, he did say that sometimes the cultists don't even know that they're, like, the deity is disguised as something else. So, okay, yeah, not a cultist, but you
What do you
follow
believe
something,
in?
right?
What do you believe?
I scoff and I say, oh, I have a deity, but it's not one I tend to share with you.
Well, that is a what's the word? That is very different from the other deity followers that I've met.
Yeah, I've heard about the sun god a lot.
They
Is it
seem to
because-
really like talking about him.
Is it because you're embarrassed by him or them?
I kind of just grab a hold of the bars on the sail and motion to him. And I just tell him, if it's fear you want, come on in here.
What is this? I just asked if this man had the shitty god. It sounds like he's got that shitty god. What is he doing?
Usu looks at you and kind of, I'm not sure. Well, in actuality, and he looks around, because Usu is, he is not an elf. He has more rounded ears. He is some type of human or something like that, and says, let's be honest, he's being kept in here because he's a dwarf, and this is Singorn.
Oh, hell no.
That sounds very racist.
I agree. We can get him out, I suppose. And he kind of gestures, and the lock comes open on the door.
You should be ashamed of yourself.
I'm disappointed in you, Uso.
This is not my city.
It sort of feels like it is.
I run certain labs here in the Spires, and I commute back and forth between here and Stilben. I do not run this city. In any case, you're out. Fine.
What about the other two?
The cultist,
letting that
I'm not
drow in.
leaving, and the drow, I'm sorry, but, no. But you, get your things. You can...
Wait, can we kill the other two or no?
No!
Why did you even bring us down here?
I start collecting my things and putting it back on, and I kind of just lean up against the wall, waiting on...
Alright.
I mean, if we're gonna kill something, I'd rather not kill it if it's locked up. Let's let it loose and then chase it.
I've got a better idea. Why chase it when it can lead you to the rest of them?
Yeah.
I mean, if they're standing on street corners like this weirdo gnome.
No, those don't mean nothing. Those are cannon fodder to these cultists.
I mean, I still want to kill him.
Usu looks
Yeah,
and is like, I don't know.
Can we? Would you allow one of them to go free so that we may
Oh my god, why?
not kill him? No. No, Crom.
Crumb's hungry.
Usu looks back and forth as you're discussing this, and is like, we've tried things like that. Don't get me wrong. Like, we're not idiots. We have tried things like this. It doesn't seem that there is much organizational structure to this cult.
Maybe you didn't work because you were too busy looking up a dwarf because he was a dwarf.
Ooh.
Ooh.
What would Bahamut think, Uzo?
At this point, Usu is just like crossing his arms in front of him.
So, while you're discussing this, I take a pocket knife out and I prick my thumb, and a drop of blood comes out, and I basically snap my fingers at this gnome.
Okay. And what are you casting?
Hellish Rebuke at 3rd level.
Okay. And there's a save for that? Yes.
Should be 14.
Dex,
Dex,
yeah.
Dex save of 14.
And that's a natural 1. So this gnome, as y'all watch, this dwarf that you've just met seems to be just kind of picking at his fingers, and then suddenly points at the gnome, and these kind of almost ghostly but still bright, like hellish flames kind of surround the gnome, and which they start screaming and laughing at the same time. Go ahead and roll for damage.
I did. It was 22, I believe.
Oh, gosh. As you watch the flames just coming up around it, you hear this crackling, and you smell of burnt hair and skin, and within like 4 or 5 seconds, this gnome is just like drops to the ground, this mostly burnt corpse.
And then afterwards, can I follow that up with something?
I mean, we're not in initiative, so sure,
Okay.
we're 6 seconds on. Go for it.
I'm just gonna walk over to his charred body, and I'm gonna cast Animate Dead on it.
Animate dead. All right. As you watch, the dwarf walks over, puts a hand down, and speaks a few words, and the burnt corpse, just kind of shifts, and like the charred, crackling skin, some of it kind of falling off in ash to the ground, and it kind of rights itself up and stands up, just kind of standing there, head kind of askew. Usud is just kind of like not even breathing, just watching.
Also, this is the one you let out of prison. He is a necromancer.
Well, it's just,
I spit on the ground when he says a necromancer.
ooh.
I spit on the ground too. You raised the dead.
I mean, casting one necromancy spell does not a necromancer make.
We've had we need to have the conversation about your predilections along the way too. I really want to beat this gnome to death again.
I motion towards the group, kind of like, ask it, tell it, what do you want it to do?
Well, I ask you, how do you feel about blue dragons?
I have a disdain for all dragons.
Yeah. Okay.
You
Good to
see,
know.
Uzu?
What was that? Sorry.
I look over at Uzu.
Yeah.
I say, you see Uzu?
Well,
He's no good.
That's something I come across a lot in my. But did you have to? I mean, whew, well, now I'm responsible. I let you out.
You locked me up in here under false pretenses in the first place.
I mean, I did not lock you up. That was the guard that locked you up.
Uzu, it really seems like you want us to take this dwarf off your hands.
I mean, I certainly don't want to deal with him myself. Well, so yes, please. You took this one from off my hands, and he points at you, Zippel. Could you take this one off my hands too?
How dare you?
While I'm sitting around waiting on him to decide, I kind of just kick the gnome in the shin.
And it kind of just stumbles a little bit, and kind of rebalances.
I will have no truck with this. Follow me, little child. And I'm going back upstairs.
Okay. The metal child just kind of looks back and forth and kind of hesitates before following you.
Well, the rest of us that are still down here, I say we
Cyrithus, how you doing over there? How are you feeling about this?
curious if it's a crime to murder someone in the street.
Checks out.
I mean,
How does everybody else feel about bringing him along on our quest to gather these items? He looks pretty strong.
Yeah, more numbers are better.
Looks
right?
pretty
That's
helpful.
What,
yeah.
That's what Trump told me. More numbers are better.
Yep, bigger numbers are better.
More numbers.
Usuj is just looking at all of you and just stops and says, "Look, I need you all to leave the city. You've now made me accessories to murder and unsanctioned necromancy. So, could you just leave?"
Okay.
All right, let's go.
I'm just imagining like the 7-foot tall Crom just. Mwah.
Yeah. Later, Uzi.
I just grab my undead gnome and I grab him by the scruff of the neck and I start walking.
All right. It's like more parts of like the charred flesh are just falling off, as you kind of it stumbles along with you. You join Zippo up at the top of the stairs of the next level. And then you're quickly, and Usu kind of throws a rough cloak over the top of the gnome, and says, just to keep from the just for now, and seems just very suddenly the most nervous you've ever seen him. Like you've never seen him flustered, but suddenly he's very flustered and doesn't know what to do. You've gotten the impression he spends most of his time indoors studying things, theoretically, things like that. Yes. He seems powerful, but you get the sense maybe he hasn't ever done anything like this, so.
Okay, you guys. Let's go maybe have some ale and talk about our plan. How does that sound? Or do you nerds want to look at books?
I mean, you've been escorted out of the spires at this point. I don't know if you're going to be let back in at the moment.
No books for you.
I mean, I don't know how, after this, we're going to find the blue dragon again.
Yeah, I mean, but out as you exit the spires, you're once again in the city of Singorn, the huge, hundreds feet tall sequoia off to your left, with these kind of twinkling lights in it. To your right, down the slope into the main part of the market of town, along the lake, you see it's becoming spring here. It's just on the cusp of being spring, and some of the trees are starting to bud a little bit, and there's a few flowers coming out as you've made it through the long winter. But it's fairly busy and bustling, and you've met a few people here in town. You've been a few places you might be able to go.
Is there a temple to the sun god anywhere in town?
You've been here in town before. You do know that in this part of town, near the spires, there's a few small temples to what the elves consider the lesser, like the minor gods. And yes, there is a small shrine with a couple acolytes that maintain it.
If we are looking for a place to stay, I know of a place, but we can't bring that thing with us.
I'm assuming you're pointing at the undead, and not one of us.
No, I'm talking to the metal chap. Of course I'm talking about the undead. No, but it's not. Leave it outside overnight or something, if we must have it.
Yeah, I got some shopping I need to do. No, just I need to pick up supplies for teleportation circle in case we need to travel.
I mean, that's true. And
Yeah, I think we determined I was just about out.
and you all do need information.
Yeah. That's true. Patterns really places. Probably. Where you need a magic shop?
A magic shop.
Magic.
Magic store. Well, what do you all remember about Singhorn? It's been a while since you actually spent time here.
It has.
I remember you doing a few things here, so.
You want? We can roll.
Yeah, I mean, if you wanna. Here, let me see here. I'm gonna have somebody roll a general wisdom check. Who wants to do it?
I'll do it.
Are you wise, Crom?
Maybe.
Krom got blessed personally by Ayun. I don't know if you remember this.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, fairly wise. Yeah, go ahead. Make a wisdom check. Add your wisdom. Yeah, roll a d20. Add your wisdom modifier.
Oh. That was bad. 8.
8.
Yeah.
I mean, it's tough. You've been through a lot since the last time you really spent time here. Gosh, what have you done? You fought a red dragon. You crossed to 2 other continents. You battled some type of shape-shifting demon.
No more
But
digital dice.
what's that?
No more digital dice.
Oh, you're
Okay.
using the digial dice. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I have not had good luck with digital dice.
Me either.
But you remember vaguely in this city that you vaguely remember some young elven boy that, or half-elven boy that helped you when you first came to the city. You don't remember a name. You remember that there was a black market of some type, but you don't remember how to get in. And you remember that there was a fairly... While most of Singhorn is a little bit sketchy for people who aren't elves, especially, even half-elves have a hard time here. There is a tavern in the southern part of town called... and this you remember because it's one of the last places you went to in town before leaving the last time. One of the last times. But it was called the Sneaky Weasel.
Nice. Roland, you want to lead us there? Do you remember where it is?
Sure, I think the Sneaky Weasel is a good place for us.
Cool.
Okay. So, making your way through town here, you go through the Tarn Ward, which the central kind of trading district along the west side of the big lake in the center of the city. It's a nice day out, and there's even birds chirping. There's quite a bit of commerce going on. You hear a little blacksmith shop over to one side, and there's carts going up and down, and it's nice to be back somewhere where everything isn't trying to kill you all at once, and you aren't about to sink into mud all the time. Yeah, it's a nice day out anyway. But in the southern reaches of the Tarn Ward, where it gets close up to where the Reverie Walks and the Fey Grove are kind of on a little bit more dingy streets down in that section, you start to see more non-elven people. And in fact, as you made your way through town, your group kind of turned some heads, just with a lot of frowns. But here in the southern reaches of the Tarn Ward, not as much. And as you come up to where you thought you had remembered it, Roland, in fact, it's there. A kind of slapshod building, for Singhorn anyway. In most other places, this might have been a fairly nice little tavern, but here in the capital of the elves, it's, it's a wooden building that's unpainted, has a little sign out front that's slightly askew, with a bad painting of a weasel on it. And heading in, you find...
Real quick, before we head in,
Yes, go for it.
without many people, or without trying to draw too much attention to myself, in regards to the party, I want to kind of reach in my bag and I want to cover my hand in a substance, and I want to basically leave a handprint, a very specific kind of handprint.
Okay.
Not necessarily right in plain view, but definitely if you were looking for it, you would find it. Kind of like maybe off from a windowsill or some kind of out of place placement, really.
Yeah, kind of like, yeah, you can do that well enough. You're trying to do this on the sly?
Discreetly, but not secretly.
Okay.
Like, I'm not trying to obviously draw attention to myself. It's kind of like I do it kind of rather quickly while we're moving through.
Okay.
And I kind of view myself as probably the last person in line.
Okay.
Of this group, because I've kind of got this little slow ass gnome.
Yeah. Well,
I've got to keep.
Well, and actually, I was just thinking about that. Animate Dead lasts for 1 minute.
Yeah, it's getting ready to.
I mean, you
should have died already.
Yeah, I mean, a little, just not too long after leaving the spires, before you even get into the Tarn Ward, like suddenly, you all hear this odd sound, like almost this kind of gurgling sound, and suddenly the gnome that had been kind of shambling along with you just drops.
I reach back over my shoulder and spit on it.
All right. Okay. Well, actually, let me look at this. No, the casting time's 1 minute, isn't it? It is. It is under your control for 24 hours. Okay, so it doesn't do that. It's still with you. But as for the handprint, if you could just roll a quick sleight of hand check. Yeah, sleight of hand.
That sucked. 5.
Okay. I mean, you leave the handprint. You're not sure if anybody else saw it. But you're able to leave it easy enough. It's a handprint. And you have the stuff with you to do that, so.
Yeah.
And yes.
Without giving anything away to everybody else, you know what I'm talking about when
Yes, I do.
Okay.
All right. I did my. When you told me about your character, I did a little bit of research.
Okay.
Okay. So heading in with the group, some of you less happy to be with others of you than others might be. You find yourselves inside of the Sneaky Weasel, a fairly lively place. And like I said, in this part of town, and especially in the Sneaky Weasel, it seems like a lot of the non-elven people of Singworn seem to congregate here. You see at least 2 other dwarves over in their own, doing their own kind of thing. You see some humans. There's some halflings here. You even see a oh gosh, Cirthus. You see another a tiefling over to one side. This one not with red skin, but with fairly pale skin. Just kind of drinking on their own. But it's, while fairly busy, there's a few tables or booths kind of around, and you can find a place that'll seat 6, well, plus 1 standing there, I guess, covered in a cloak. But yes, should you want to discuss things, you have a place to do it. A serving person comes by real quick and says, well, would you like something? And if anybody would like to order ale or something.
Crom would like meat. Do you have meat here?
Oh, hi,
Not meat,
we have meat. Yes, we could get you some of that.
I would like 5 meats.
5 meats. All right, I can do that. 5 meats coming up. Well,
Oh, yep.
I mean,
And 5 beers.
and 5 beers. All right. He kind of looks at you and does a quick count. 5. Oh, all right.
I kind of smirk and I take that as a challenge and I order the same.
Oh God. Oh no.
Uh-oh.
So 10 beers, 10 meats. And just so you know, it's just roast chicken today, if that's all right.
I would like 3 live fish, please.
3 live. We don't have live fish.
Then maybe go get some.
I'm-
You are willing to accommodate everybody else at the table. Why not me?
Well, that's because we have that here. We don't serve. Every moment you're talking
You
to them,
don't
they're
serve
getting more
what?
flustered. We don't serve live fish. Also, what is that smell? It smells like somebody burned hair.
Look down a little bit further down the gnome, like covering him up more.
All right. In any case, let me see what I can do, and he just walks off.
Do you have any eggs?
They've already walked off.
Okay, goodbye.
All right. The lot of you are left alone for right now. Please speak amongst each other.
All right. So how are we gonna find this blue dragon?
Yeah. So the things that the black dragon told us. Oh my God! Stop! Move! This dog is trying to play. Is that he accentuates his essence? That's all I got.
And we know that he, as a blue dragon, and his own, well, from his own statements, that he desires like political power and
maybe,
influence.
Yeah. So he would probably be noticeable.
Yeah, or
If we ask around.
running a campaign to be dragon mayor of somewhere. I don't know.
Yeah.
Dragon. Well, as you remember, the last time you had seen him, he was in the form of a dark-haired elf.
Yes.
Yeah, we kind of know what he looks like.
So, yeah.
What do you guys think?
All right.
I
Roland.
think we should ask the dwarf, our
Yes.
new friend, a few questions like, A, do you have a name? And B, besides the fact that Usu doesn't like you, what else do you have to recommend you?
Well, my name is Gundar, and frankly, I've got nothing better to do. So if you want my help, it could be beneficial to me, and if you don't want my help, I guess I can take my services elsewhere.
I will say I liked what you did to the gnome, besides the fact that you reanimated it before I could get my s'mores kit out.
There'll be plenty of time. We can do that later.
That's not like a thing you can only ever do once then.
I'm not your everyday one and done kind of dwarf, my friend.
Friend is a word that we don't know about using yet.
Oh, trust me, I don't use it kindly.
Oh, and while we're at this, Gundar, as you look around, and you've noticed this long before now, but the party consists of Roland, a high elf, well dressed, Zippel, a lizard folk, who is in scale mail and holds a shield and carries a mace. Cirthus, a tiefling with red skin and, horns, who generally keeps to himself a little bit. Crom, a huge Goliath barbarian woman, and Chomp, a little kind of white-haired gnome who seems to be very interested in books and things.
I kind of just take all this in, shove them, and kind of make an assessment.
All right.
Yeah, and I'm gonna insist that we have an eating/drinking contest when our food and ale gets here.
I mean, it's not too long before that happens. There are 10 beers and 10 servings of roast chicken with a little bit of potatoes on the side brought up. It's a full table. This booth really wasn't quite meant for 6 people, so it's already kind of cramped. And now suddenly there's 10 people's worth of food and drinks on the table.
All right, guys, line them up.
Yeah,
The beers, I
the
mean.
beers.
And who are you? Who are you having? Who's having a contest here?
I'm challenging Gundar.
Metal child, you can have one sip of mine.
I mean, if anybody else wants to play, it's just I have to challenge the new kid.
I mean, it is. There's been more than one drink in the game. Yes.
It's fun that Crom, I don't remember you challenging me to a fun, jovial game of let's drink all the beer when I joined you, but
Oh, honey, I didn't think you could handle it. You're so
bartender,
lizard.
Fragile.
5 more.
So lizard. Okay,
Metal
let's do
child,
it.
I'm going to do something. You are to do as I say and not as I do.
The automaton looks at you and just back and forth between everybody and just kind of nods slowly.
I look at
Yes.
I look at Crom and I just say, if you're ready to lose, I'm ready to beat you.
All right.
Oh hell no! Let's do it.
I slap my stomach.
Oh, and while we're here, we need to look for breeding mates for Roland. It was important.
Oh yes, that's true.
I appreciate that.
Roland, nobody here quite catches your eye at the moment. It's that midday crowd,
Yeah, I'm quite happy to sit back and watch my friends make fools of themselves.
Yeah.
All right.
Not even.
All right. We got 5 drinks out here. The 3 of you, could you please roll a Constitution check?
No shit.
7.
No. Okay, Jordan's my witness. I got a nat 20 plus.
6.
Oh, a saving.
Oh,
Okay,
no,
so-
no, a check. So
a check. So
let's do.
yeah. So I got 22.
22.
I got 18.
18. All right. So the 3 of you chug down your first mug of ale. It's slightly room temperature, and while you do like warm things, Zippel, it's a little off-putting to you, and you feel your stomach immediately start to gurgle. The other 2 of you, well, Crom finishes slightly before you, Gundar. You polish it off before too long, and you're just like, let's go. We can do this again. But could you all, as the second round is in front of you, could you all roll another Constitution check?
Oh.
Okay, so
Yeah.
I promise I don't have weighted die. I got another 20.
15.
I got a 14.
I don't.
Okay.
I do have a question though.
Yes.
Would my dwarven resilience have any effect on this?
Well, that's
I'm just asking for clarification.
Yeah, let me take a look at the exact wording of Dwarven resilience. Oh, come on, computer, work. There we go.
Also, I can hold my
But-
breath for 15 minutes if that can help me chug better.
But I guess it doesn't really matter if these are just Constitution checks instead of saves?
Yeah, they're not saves yet.
Okay, so yeah, it doesn't matter then.
Depending on what happens, there might be saves. So you had a... Okay, so what did we have altogether? We had a 22 for Crom.
Yep.
Again. What did you have, Gundar?
A 14.
14.
15.
15. All right. So once again, Crom is just knocking these things back. On the second one, you're doing okay, Gundar. But it's, it wasn't as easy as the first. Zipple, this one seems to go down easier than the first. Still a little unsettled, but feeling better at this point. But third round, go. Constitution check.
I got an 8.
Nice.
An 8.
I got a 6.
A 6.
22.
22.
Oh wow. Okay.
All right. Yeah,
I fooled you.
I've got to keep track of these things. All right. So, Zipple, although he looked a little, shall we say, greener in the face than usual at first, on the third round now is like finding his footing and is just downs it. The other two of you, like this third one seems to, maybe it's because you're doing this on an empty stomach, but it's starting to turn a little bit. Fourth round, go.
Uh,
15?
23 for me.
23, 15.
19.
19. Fourth round, you all are still just like you're all are kind of finding your stride now and just down in things. Gundar, you win this round, but only by a little bit. And we come down to the fifth one. You all are feeling a little bit like if you move too much, you're going to slosh around because you've downed 4, pints of beer within the course of a couple minutes. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting rest of the day. So, for the fifth round, could everybody make a Constitution saving throw?
19 again.
19 as well.
19.
Well, this is a save.
This
though,
is a
so
save.
would that be?
Yes, so
Would I
it would
have-
be. Yeah, you have advantage.
Yeah, so 19 still.
17.
Okay. So on this one, it is hard pushing through. And Zipple, you said you had 19 as well?
Yes.
All right. Kind of pushing through. Yeah, even with as quick as you were getting some of the early ones down, Crom, you're not able to finish quite as much, and you're just like, and like it almost comes up. Based on some of your other Constitution rolls, like you're not having, it doesn't come all the way up. You don't have a complete reversal of fortune, but you see as the other two are chugging, and Zipple and Gundar slam their mugs down at the exact same moment and just kind of both stare at each other.
Damn, I'm impressed with both of you guys. Good game.
Where are my fish?
Because that's what you want is live fish after chugging 5 pints.
You don't know me.
Somewhat.
I try to hand him one of my chickens as a token.
I just pocket it because I'm not sure what the dwarf wants me to do with half of a chicken.
No, it was one of the fresh ones. I hadn't ate it yet.
Thank you.
Sure. That's polite. In any case. Yeah. Okay. You all, the three of you anyway, are fairly happy. Roland, Sirthis, and Chomp, you've been left without drinks, but you have a lot of chicken.
I'll motion over the bartender or waiter or whatever and buy the three of us around.
Yeah.
I'm not buying those three around, though.
All right. And that's easy enough to do.
Roland, did you want to use your charisma charm to try to get some intel, maybe from the bartender, or?
I will do that.
All right. So Roland, walking up to the bar. Sorry, I need to skip to the end here. Where is... Yes. You see a half-elf behind the bar, who you recognize. His name is Clive. He's the owner of the place. He has kind of a handlebar mustache in this kind of dark brown, slightly reddish with brown hair on top. Wears an apron. You know, looks very bartendery. As you come up, cleaning a glass. Yeah, well, what will it be then? You all seem to be having a great time over there.
Clive, everywhere we go is a party. Can I buy you a drink?
Well, I mean, I'm working right now.
I'd love to stand you around and sit down and chat with you for a second.
He gestures around. I'm not that busy. I can talk. What can we do for you?
We came when we first came to Singhorn. We had another traveling companion who he seemed to have he seems to have gotten waylaid and lost.
Oh.
And I was wondering if I asked you if you might know of him. He's kind of a darker elf, not a drow, and he seems to have some political aspirations. I was wondering if you heard of him.
Well, what is he? You said darker. You mean?
I mean, just dark skin, dark hair.
Dark skin, dark hair.
Well dressed.
No, now you mention it. There was a chap, maybe a couple months ago, had come through town. He showed up at a lot of the parties and the salons that were happening, and then he just kind of fizzled out. Seemed very interested in knowing who there was to know, but didn't seem to get much anywhere. Last I heard of him, there was some kind of thing happening out west and south of here, somewhere in the forest, and that was just a rumor, and that might have been him.
It sounds like him.
I mean, it was just a political thing. Just someone trying to meddle in the affairs of some town out there, somewhere in the forest.
Do you have a friend that might have more exact information?
Well, I mean, there's a runner. He runs about town here. He's a young chap. Named Airless.
Yes. I know him.
Oh, do you? Well, I mean, he may be around here somewhere. I could see if I could find him. Send him over to your table. It might take a few. He might not be here in the building.
That would be very nice.
All right then. Let me see what we can find. And he goes over to one of the other servers that's around. In fact, the same that had the same other half elf that had come up to you at the table, and kind of whispers in the ear, and they kind of go out through the back.
All right, and I'm gonna leave a couple gold, maybe 3 gold pieces on the bar.
Okay. And he, as he's coming back up, right as you're laying the gold pieces, he's, oh well, thank you. It's good to know that there's some good patrons left out there in the world.
We enjoy your tavern.
And just so I know, just out of curiosity, your name is Roland, correct?
Right.
That wouldn't be Roland of the House Thorani, would it?
Yes, it would.
Oh, I've heard about you.
All good, I'm sure.
Well, not all. But, I mean, rumors. Who is to say what is true and what isn't?
That's very true. Who is to say?
Certainly not I.
No, never.
And he kind of gives you a wink and goes back to cleaning around the bar.
I'm going to go back to the table and say, good Lord, I think he's hitting on me.
Can you breathe him?
I would prefer not to.
Okay, well then, let's not worry about it then.
He told me he's going to go find that runner child who we dealt with before. He may know where... What was the blue dragon's name again? It's something with a lot of S's.
Frithis.
Frithis, yes. It sounds like you're... Yeah, sounds like a lisp.
It does.
Yeah, he may have information on Frithis.
All right. Waiting around for a few minutes. You all kind of settling in. The next round comes over for the three that hadn't had a drink. The three that had been drinking those 5 pints, you don't necessarily feel much like eating at this point. You're very full, as that's a lot of liquid. And it doesn't take more than a couple minutes before... Could each of you make another Constitution saving throw?
Nice.
26.
Okay.
22.
22. And Gundog? It's at advantage again because...
Muted. 25.
25. I mean, you are all feeling nice and tipsy, but not to the point where you're gonna puke or you're gonna fall over or anything like that. Just real nice and a little bit of buzz and warm in the face, you know? No, you're having a nice time this afternoon. Nothing like a bit of day drinking. In any case, settling in, having a few drinks, eating a lot of chicken apparently. It's maybe 15-20 minutes before you hear this kind of little bit of patter of feet run up, and then suddenly this slight figure, maybe between a 10 and 12-year-old half-elf, runs up. Four of you recognize this as Airless, the young little fellow who had first helped you and had offered for a price to take you on a tour around Singhorn and show you what was what. And in fact introduced you to where the black market was in the first place. He's a useful little guy. But he runs up and says, "Yes, it's good to see you. I hadn't thought to see you back in the city." But what is it that you need?
What was it? Live fish? No. We need information about Frithis. Yeah. Have you
Talks like this.
Yeah, a lispy guy.
Yeah, I remember. He was in town. He was trying to do all these things at all these different. He was trying to gain some kind of power here, but he didn't seem to find much traction. Seemed like a nice fellow though. Threw a lot of parties.
So what happened to him? Whatever became of him? You said he didn't gain much power here.
Well, he was out. He went out into the forest for a while, maybe trying to find somewhere where he could find some kind of place he could have power. Seemed to really talk about just the inner workings of things quite a bit. Seemed to know a lot. But last I had heard, he had been... there was rumors of something happening out on the coast. Somewhere out at the end of the Fespin Narrows. Was that town out there? It's the port out there on the ocean.
Yeah, that's usually where ports are.
He kind of is like snapping his fingers and trying to remember.
I slide a coin, a gold coin, over to him.
Oh, yes! Immediately, just like you almost don't see the hand move. Like it's fast. Says, oh yes, I remember now. Karnath, out there. It's Port City. Beautiful out there, they say.
It is beautiful.
I slide him a pamphlet on the benefits of worshiping the sun gods.
Oh, well, thank you again. Oh, that's nice. He kind of tucks it in along with the coin, and he's kind of got a little bit of a loose vest on that seems to have some pockets and pouches in it. I'll read it later. Thank you. But you said it's beautiful. You've been there.
Oh, yes.
Oh,
I'm from there.
You're from there. Oh, well, that's nice. I wouldn't have thought. I've never met anybody from Karnath. Cheers.
Well, you have, and just don't get carried away with excitement.
All right, fine. You now that you mention it, the lot of you, at least the four of you that I know, and he kind of looks between Zippel and Gundar and kind of frowns a little bit, but the other four of you that I know, there's been some, how do you say, rumblings in the black in the underground and things like that here in Singor. It's the lot of you might be in trouble.
I'm gonna give him another gold coin.
We were never here.
Well, I mean, I never saw you, but just so you know,
Chicken.
our friends with the gold seal have been looking for you. There might be a little bit of a bounty on your head.
I slide him the chicken Gundar gave me.
Okay.
What in the world are you talking about?
Well, so you're aware of the Gold Seal Order. They're a criminal organization, right? I mean, I'm not me. I'm not part of it. Don't ask me. But you see, they run certain things in the black market here, and up in Iman and places in Taldore, it sounds like they're gaining power, but they're run by someone called the Southerner, and they're looking for you.
That was the Beholder?
Yeah.
The Beholder.
I think so.
Do you say that out loud, or?
No.
Okay. And word is the bounty on the street for the lot of you, although there's some of you here that aren't here, if you get my meaning. In any case, has reached 2,000 gold pieces.
Well, I tell you what. Here's 3,000 gold pieces. Do I have that many? I think so.
Do you?
To forget that we were here.
Wait, is that our...
whoa.
Whoa.
No, hold it. I don't have that many.
I gave him a chicken, it's fine.
I mean, I'm just. It's not my place. I mean, the lot of you have been nice to me. I'm not. Don't get me wrong. I wouldn't like that much money, but I wouldn't know what to do with it. And honestly, that would make me a target. I'm just letting you know that you might want to watch your backs.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think we need to get out of here.
Yeah, I mean...
Can I ask? So while everybody was talking and everything, I made a little note with the same symbol as I put outside.
Yeah.
And I give it to the kid and I ask him if he has seen this anywhere else in the city. And I give him 2 more coins with
Okay.
it.
As you hand him the note and the coins, you almost don't see it, but he just very quickly, like in passing, pockets the coins and is looking at the note. It says, "Here in this city, I can't say that I have. I mean, there was something nearby here, actually, that on my way here I noticed, but other than that, it's not something I've seen a lot. There's another symbol I had seen recently quite a bit, and he kind of grabs a piece of charcoal off the ground and draws it. And you see it's this odd symbol with these kind of 3 squiggles that come off of it with a circular center. The top squiggle almost looks like part of a question mark, and the others are kind of odd. And he shows it to you. I'm not sure if he showed it to anybody else. I've seen this symbol around in places.
Would I recognize it?
I mean, make an intelligence check real quick. Just general intelligence.
No. 5.
5. All right.
I do not like these dice on.
Yeah, I
online.
know. The online dice, I stopped using them because I like my shiny metal dice.
Yeah.
But I mean, looking at it, you don't quite recognize it. Like it rings a bell, but you can't place it. But no, not the other one. I'm sorry.
I'll just kind of nod my head.
Okay. Okay. With that, Airless kind of looks around at the rest of you, pats his pouch at the side, which seems to clink a little bit with coins in it, and says, "Well, if there's nothing else, I have some messages to be delivering. I'll see you around." And he takes off.
Well, I think we should make our way out of town as soon as possible, as soon as we can.
Yeah. Toward the forest.
Just because I'm curious, why is there an entire criminal organization out for you?
We were.
Well, I mean,
we were-
there could be a lot of reasons. I mean, a number.
Surthis, do you have anything to add?
Nope.
Classic Cirthus.
I mean, the fact that that the criminal organization has a bounty on our head, that would be
That means good.
Yeah,
That means we're good.
that would mean good things, wouldn't it?
If anybody except you two had told me that, I would have said yes.
Well, then I'll tell you that.
Ooh.
Not much better.
We freed. Wait, did we free slaves? Felt like there was a slave trade going on, and we did something.
You were trying to find out what was happening with that, because at the time you were traveling with somebody who was trying to find their sister.
Yeah. And
You
then
never
there was-
you never found anybody.
We didn't.
But you did figure out that they were transporting slaves down south into the Iron Authority territory, the Empire of the Hobgoblins.
We didn't free slaves. Okay.
Did we?
You were trying.
We tried.
We may have made a deal.
Oh God, I think
I
so.
feel like that would have been a thing that we did.
You did definitely make a deal with a beholder that was running a criminal empire, yes.
Oh.
Oh yeah, because we had the conundrum of okay, we're gonna pretend to be working for the criminal
Yeah.
organization, and then step 3 was to
Profit.
Step 3 was to subvert it from the inside, but step 2 we never really figured out at what point we were going to not be working for the criminal organization.
And apparently they're looking for you.
Well, join the
They're
club.
only looking for you apparently because you forgot to clock out Thursday.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
That makes sense.
yeah.
That is important. Your
Well-
supervisor would like to speak with you.
We haven't shown up for work in a while.
Okay then. Then let's stay away from the Underdark maybe.
I mean, it's still pretty early in the day, right?
Yeah. Day drunk.
Yeah, I mean, it's like 2 in the afternoon. 3 of you are fairly drunk, but, you know, in a pleasant way.
Way to be.
I mean, there's the I can't remember, the room is spinning, and I'm throwing up way.
So does anybody in the party, I know some need provisions or ingredients for spells. Do you want to get that here under the risk of getting caught, or can you polymorph into a not wanted person?
Oh,
Be like a T-Rex, like
I can't.
go buy something as a T-Rex?
I can cast Alter Self with my little bracelet thing.
Yeah, maybe that'd be a good idea. And we'll hide out in the Sun God place or something.
They do not know that I'm associated with you, so if you were to provide the money and a list of items, I would be happy to go pick them up for you.
Cool.
I mean, that's true. Of the 6 of you, Zippel and Gundar are both unknown to the Gold Seal Order.
So you could go gather an items or something, and we could hide out.
Not
Somewhere?
hiding. It's just, resting.
Again, if you needed a place to get besides this tavern, I could arrange for a place for us to stay at the temple to the Dawn Father.
Yeah, that might help. Maybe we can leave somebody, middle child there, or I don't know.
I mean, for that matter, Metal Child is not known by the Gold Seal Order.
True.
But also not good for bargaining, because they can't talk.
Oh yeah.
They do have a crossbow, though.
You did give them a crossbow. That's true. Which reminds me, I need to add that to their inventory.
Okay, let's do it then.
So, but yeah, we're planning on leaving town this afternoon.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
I think we should head to Karnath.
Yep. I mean, I could swing by somewhere on our way out of town. Probably. I don't think it's going to be too hard to find the chalk and the ink, and that's about all I need. I don't know of any other provisions or anything else that anybody else needs.
As far as I know, I am pretty set on everything.
All right, adventuring.
All right.
Yeah, I guess we start heading out of town, and if I can't remember if I'm sure we've been shopping here before.
You have. You've been around. You know where a few things are. So, I mean, the DC on a investigation check would be pretty low to find what you're looking for. I'm going to say that for expeditious sake, yeah, you can find what you're looking for.
Cool.
You're looking for chalks and incense and some other things?
Yeah, the rare chalks and inks infused with precious gems worth 50 gold pieces.
Okay.
And I'll probably buy a few of them.
Okay. So up in, let me see. So in the, oh gosh. So there's 2 places you remember that you can buy these kind of things. There's the Haven, which is the black market in town, which as you talked to Erlas a little bit, it jogs your memory a little, and you can remember the entrance to it at least. And then there's the Memory Ward, where the Spires of Urek is, as well as a lot of other temples, the Sequoia of Remembrance, which is this huge 300-foot tall tree with glowing lights in it, things like that. Because there's a lot of arcane and divine things that go on there, things like that, incense, chalks, rare chalks, things like that can be found there. So it just depends on what flavor of shop you want to go to, really.
I guess I don't know if
What?
somewhere is like around the spires and stuff. I don't know if that's high profile or.
Well, don't you have change appearance? Just go do it real quick.
Oh yeah.
And then we'll meet you at the something.
Yeah, I'll do that. Where's a rendezvous point?
Which direction? The north?
You'd have to go north. You're at the fairly. You're pretty much as far south in the Tarn Ward as you
Okay.
can go in the market district, kind of here, before you get into the Fay Grove, which is an odd part of the city that's kind of half abandoned, where supposedly it crosses over into the Feywild a little bit. So you got it's maybe like a good 40-minute walk uptown to the Memory Ward to buy stuff. It would be a shorter trip to the Haven, the Black Market. However, the Black Market there is where you had last met some representatives of the Gold Seal Order.
Okay.
Yeah, so you guys just want to like hang out outside of town?
Yep.
And I'll come find you in like an hour or so.
Sure. That's what I mean.
What says everybody? All right.
Are you going alone?
I mean, anyone who is unrecognizable to the Golden Seal Order is welcome to tag along. We're gonna try to be sort of low profile.
I'd be happy to go with you if you feel like you need a friend.
Yeah, you like magic and stuff.
Yeah, it's my favorite.
As long as it's of the divine variety.
That's
Cool.
true.
That's
All right.
fine.
So splitting up, Chomp and Zipple, you're going to be going up to the... Oh... Gosh, where are you going up to? Sorry, I'm already... The Memory Ward?
Memory Ward.
Yeah. Okay. So we're going to deal with that first. Heading up north back through the city, and you said you were going to do Alter Self?
Yeah, I'm gonna alter self and use the change appearance feature.
Okay.
And as fun as it would be to look like something crazy, I'm gonna have to go with I guess the most common race around us, human or elf or something.
Okay.
Whatever is the kind of the most common that I see around as we walk down the street.
Okay. Just be aware. Oh, we lost Tom. So I'm sure he'll be back. There he is. Hey, Tom. So with Alter Self and other such things, well, no, because you assume a different form, huh? This is transmutation. This is not a, You're not just making yourself look like something else, you're making yourself into something else.
Yeah, looking at it.
Yeah.
Well, it says you can't appear as a creature of a different size than you. I guess that's like, I think I'm classified as small.
It's not like all, yeah, well.
But yeah, it's not like an illusion.
It's not an illusion spell, it's a transmutation spell, yeah.
Right.
Okay. In that case, yes.
So
Yeah, I
I'm
mean,
just-
the easiest thing would be to transmute yourself into the form of a high elf. Just, fairly tall, slightly spindly, long hair brought back over the, down the shoulders and down the back, looking very, very serene and confident of yourself. Traveling along with this lizard folk.
Yep.
And as you both make your way up back into the northern part of the city, eventually into the memory ward, make an investigation check real quick, just to see if you can find, because you've never shopped in this part of town, so you'll have to find a shop to buy your stuff in.
22.
That's a pretty good one then. So looking around, you fairly quickly find a small, it looks like it's just a little kind of stall along the side of the path here, as the roads in this part of the city no longer are big enough to take like carts and things. They're more of paths that kind of wind through the different evergreens and things. It's very garden-like and atmospheric as the huge sequoia rises above you in this part of the city. And as you walk up to the stall, you see the symbol of the moon over it, a crescent moon. And the elf running the stall, greets you as you come up and says, Moonweaver's blessings on you. What can I do for you today?
Yes. I'm looking for some... I'm looking for chalks and various inks infused with gems.
We might be able to do some of that for you. How much are you looking for?
I'd say about... Okay.
How much do you need?
Let's see. Maybe about 200 gold worth? How much will that keep me?
200 gold worth? We could definitely...
Sure.
We could definitely do this. Let me see here. 200 gold worth of both, or is that combined, or?
I guess a 50-50 split? I don't know.
Oh, split between that. So 100 gold of each.
Yeah.
She kind of looks, and as you can see, there's many reagents and things that are being kept here, and different components for different spells, both divine and arcane.
Oh, maybe I should just ask, like, are there, like,
Hey, just so you don't know, he RP's buying stuff the same way he is in real life, so just think about it.
What?
He uses that voice and everything?
Yep.
I imagine the people at Kroger must be very confused.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just hand him money and say, how much will this give me?
In that voice. You're like, here's money. Can I have? Yes. So yeah, what are you looking for?
Just do it.
Yeah, I say that, well, you see, I'm looking for reagents for a teleportation circle.
Oh yes, we have some of that. Let me see here. What we have. I gotta look up stuff. Well, it depends on how many circles you'll be wanting to draw. We have chalks of both mundane and rare. We have inks, both of the same. Some infused with different gems.
Yeah, I guess I need about 4 uses.
So that would be 200
4
gold pieces.
teleportation.
All right. We actually have a package. She takes out 4 of these small wooden boxes. This should get you there. I mean, you seem like you haven't been around here. You look like you... Interesting. In any case,
Has this person never heard of travelers?
well, yes, but it's just, I mean, you're an elf, and just sorry, confusing. I don't get out much, so You understand. And she does look at you, Zippo, while she's saying this, just kind of back and forth, like, all right. I mean, 200 gold. Yes, that would do it.
All right. Here you go.
All right. And you have enough stuff for 4 teleportation circles.
Cool.
And she gladly takes your coin and says, and is there anything else you'd be looking for then?
What do you have in the way of healing unguents, liquids?
Liquids. Oh, healing
Yes,
potions, things like that. We might have some. Are you looking for anything in particular, or just asking what we have?
Well, now I'm confused. Should I be talking like the two of you?
Well,
Let me try to do this as well.
oh,
No, that was a silly goof. Let me please just. Do you have any ready-made potions?
we do. What I'm asking is what size potion? We have the smaller ones, just a general healing potion. I mean, there's the greater healing potions, which are more potent as well as being a little bit larger. And then, of course, we have superior and supreme healing potions, which are going to run you a good bit. But it just depends.
How,
A general healing potion will run you 50 gold pieces.
let me get 4.
4. Okay, we can do that. And she takes out these 4 small kind of flasks made of this kind of cloudy-looking glass with a stopper, cork stopper in the top. That'll be 200 gold pieces then.
Here you go, and this is also for you. This is a pamphlet on the Dawn Father.
I mean, I'm a fan, don't get me wrong, but she points up at the crescent moon. I have my own god.
Well, it's never too late.
Sure. She quickly takes the money and kind of slides it across the counter and into a small box that she keeps behind the counter. Is that all then? She seems a little impatient with you at this point.
Oh, well, yes, I suppose that will be it.
All
We're on
right.
our way.
That sounds great then. Moonweaver be with you.
And also with you.
Sanian's blessing on you.
May the light of the sun god shine on this house.
And you. All right. Moving back through the city. Who has a high perception? What's your perception, Zippel?
Oh, but that's like 19 or something. Yeah, my passive
Your
wisdom
passive?
is 19.
Yeah. Chomp, I'm guessing yours is lower. Your passive perception?
Oh, my passive perception is 15.
Okay. Yeah, so, moving back through the city, at some point, because it took you a good 40 minutes to get up here from where you were, at some point near where you're getting ready to make the turn to go towards the gates, the main gates on the western side of the city, where you know the rest of the party is going to be trying to meet you, you get the sense that it's been about an hour, and your spell is about to run out.
All right. So, but we're I guess just
Yep.
I
10
mean,
minutes or so away from the gate. or-
you're maybe 10 minutes away from the gates, in the midst of the Tarn Ward and the main trading portion of town, and it's pretty busy. You're having to kind of scoot past people as they go past, and large carts are bringing things in and out of the city.
Well, I let Zepil know. Zepil, I don't mean to alarm you, but I believe that my costume may be about to expire. Let's pick up the pace.
I mean, it's pretty close. Like you realize as you're saying this that you are not going to be able to make it to the gates before your alter self expires.
I'm gonna throw a cloak over him.
Okay.
Are there any like, paladins or like old time fantasy taxis, like covered rickshaws or anything racing around? Is there?
I mean, there's been a few things like that. I mean, you don't see any at the moment, but there's like you've seen them around the city. They're not extremely common because this isn't a huge city. It's maybe about 30,000 people. It's not like Iman, which is like 150,000 people, which is huge for this world.
And you're a gnome, right?
Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna throw the cloak over you then, and just kind of swaddle you up and pick you up and carry you like you were my lizard hatchling.
So like as I'm transforming, or like right after or something, or I guess yeah.
Maybe duck you down an alley and then scoop you on up.
I say thanks, CPO. That's really good thinking there, buddy.
Okay, maybe we just, to keep the illusion that you are a bebe alive, maybe don't talk.
All right, sounds good.
All right, as you scoop him up, and the metal child's been following you this whole time. Now the two, so you being followed by the metal child, holding a slightly oversized baby, Chomp, in a cloak in your arms.
It's a very healthy baby.
Very healthy lizard baby.
You're like that baby from Who Framed Roger Rabbit that like smokes the cigars.
Oh gosh. And then, for anybody who knows about lizard folk, they would probably look at you more than a little strange because lizard folk generally don't care for their young very long after hatching.
That's racist.
I mean, this is just the way of things. I mean, you weren't raised that way, were you?
I was an orphan.
As far as you know, you don't know how other ones were raised.
Yeah, you hatched and no one was around. That might just be the way it goes.
We're not getting into this now.
You're triggering him.
I will put you down.
In any case, make a deception check.
Who's Zepiel?
I'm gonna ask Zepiel because he's the one walking. So 11. Good to know. All right, walking through. You're fairly certain you're doing a pretty good job. A couple times the cloak, because you're trying to kind of shoulder your way through. It's getting pretty crowded here. As the closer you get to the gates, the more people are kind of funneled through this smaller space. So it gets a little bit more cramped. With your passive perception, you notice at one point behind you a band of maybe 4 or 5 figures. You're not sure about age or race or gender or anything like that, but you just notice figures that you keep seeing keeping the same distance with you and kind of following at a distance.
I will tell the metal child in Draconic to load his crossbow and to be ready to shoot.
Okay. And they don't, as you continue, and you're within maybe a minute or two now of the gates. You can see the walls now surrounding Singorn, decorated with like these stripes of what looks like actual solid emerald going up through it and things like that. Really beautiful with all the trees and different buildings built within them around.
Do I see the other party members?
You haven't seen them yet, and you had told them to wait. You all had told them to wait outside of the gates, so you're pretty sure that they're probably out there, as far as you know. But the people following don't seem to be getting any closer as you get closer to the gates. They're keeping distance.
You know what? Can I turn around and just look at them for a minute and see if I can make out any more detail? Like, pretend that I need to stop and fix something and suss them out?
Sure.
maybe if I bend forward, my baby can see out of its wrappings and they can look too.
Go ahead and make a perception check.
It's an 8.
Chomp, you can make a perception check too.
I have a +5 to perception, and I rolled an 8.
I got a 20.
Okay.
There you go.
As you watch, as you kind of turn and you come off to the side a little bit and try to see, keep an eye on these few figures that are following you, a couple of them just seem to fade into the crowd and you lose track of them. Two of the others, you see one that posts up on a building maybe 50 feet away, just kind of leaning against it, seems to be intently looking down at their fingernails. Another over across the street from them, about the same distance from you on your side of the street, seems to be very suddenly interested in looking at the fruit at a cart alongside the street here. But the others that you had kind of noticed following you, you can't pick out at the moment. And you are, you are within maybe 20 seconds walk of the kind of customs station that controls people coming in and out of the city here.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go to the crowd at the
Okay.
customs.
Yeah. As you head to the customs, up to the guards, coming out of the city, they seem much more interested in people coming into the city than they do coming out. They kind of just wave you past coming out. Trying to keep a looking back. You want to roll a perception check to see if you can keep an eye on if anybody's following you?
Sure. It's 11.
11. Maybe it's just the fact that you went back into the crowd and in the press it's harder to see. But you don't, as you exit and the people exiting kind of fan off, there's several roads, one that goes south, one that goes north, two different ones that go in slightly different directions to the west. As you get a little bit from the gates, you don't see any of the people that you had seen following you come out of the gates.
My little baby boy, it looked like we were followed there for a minute.
Yeah, that was getting pretty scary.
Papa has you.
Especially for me, because I'm just a widow baby.
Coming up to the group, you immediately see the rest of your group kind of huddled under some trees as they had gone out to meet. Unless anybody else wants to do anything on their way to outside the city.
Pretty good. I'm kind of eager to get out of this elven city. So
I'm sure. All right. In that case, walking up to the group as they're kind of huddled, off to the side of the road under one of the large trees out here under the city, just kind of take at their ease. The four of you see Zippo walking up, holding Chomp like a baby, wrapped and kind of swaddled in this old cloak, as he hasn't put him down yet.
Hey, wait! You told me I couldn't do that to you anymore. That's not fair.
It was a necessity.
That's not fair. And I'm gonna see if he'll let me take the baby.
Ziphill looks mystified that this seems to be a thing of a bone of long contention between the two of them.
Give me my baby.
But we'll relinquish the baby, and then we were followed at least to the gate by some figures in robes that suddenly got very interested in their shoelaces when we turned around.
Well, then they'll probably keep following us if they were that interested, so maybe we if they leave the city, we can catch them, maybe? If we just keep going? Or did y'all want to turn back, or
No, I mean, I think
just
we
keep going?
maybe get off the road. I don't know what our path looks like, but we should travel in a zigzag. I don't know.
Well,
Maybe we can do a good ambush spot.
yeah, and Roland would be the one who would know here. So Roland, if you could roll a survival check, since you're out in the forest now, and there are roads, but you know the way between Karnath and Singward pretty well.
19.
Okay. You know that of the two roads that lead here from the gate that go west, the left side road is the one that will eventually, through many twists and turns, take you to Karnath. And you're fairly certain that if there is somebody following you, you know of a couple different places where you could cut off, circle back, what have you, to figure out if you could find somebody.
Okay, I'll tell y'all that then. That I think let's go left and set up an ambush.
All right. What do y'all think?
Yeah, so we're gonna assume that they're still following us and like make an obvious trail ahead, like leave big obvious footprints, but then sneak off to the sides and form an ambush. Sound good? Like,
I'm good with that.
I don't think it would hurt, even if we, waste only several hours to see that they're not following us. I think it would be to our benefit.
yeah.
If y'all want to discuss that for a minute, I really have to pee for a second, so I'll be right back.
Yeah,
Alright.
can I take a small break to grab a drink and some stuff?
Sounds good.
Can we make Roland be a little baby again?
Or Chomp.
No, I'm a powerful wizard who builds machines that warp reality to my will. I will not be treated as a child.
I mean, if you just want to have a baby to cuddle, you got a crispy gnome just that's open to anything.
The less said about that thing, the better.
So what kind of trap should we, does anybody have like a...
Tiger pit, probably.
I think we just get on either side of the road and hide in the underbrush.
We could have the metal child dressed as I was, holding a bundle of rags in the road. Make it seem like myself, and then, as Roland suggested, ambush from the sides.
And are we going to try to capture them and interrogate them, or are we just gonna attack?
After, interrogate them, kill them. We left
Okay.
Thomas alive, and that was a huge mistake.
Yeah.
You left two alive?
Our nemesis Thomas. We captured him, the squeamish members of the party wouldn't let Crumb and me kill him. And he's just popped up and over again until he finally fell off an airship.
I swear, I feel like every time we play, I learn more about the hijinks you guys have done before I joined the party. Like, oh yeah, you know, we were maybe involved in the slave trade. Yes, we did pledge our souls to Loth. Yes, we do have a nemesis. These were things that were going to come up naturally.
It would take you a little while to fill you in on the on everything.
I'm going to have like a very long talk with Uzu after this.
That's fair. All right. Is everybody back? Yeah, is everybody back?
I'm back. What did y'all decide?
Or maybe we, like, depending on how many of them there are, if we attack and leave, like, until they are defeated, all but one of them alive, or you know.
Huh? Did you say leave all but one alive?
Well, like, kill everybody except for one, and that's the one we interrogate.
That sounds better.
Who are these? There's 5?
Well, see, that's the thing. We don't know who they are or why they're following us or anything. So.
I mean, it's probably for the bounty.
That's true. That's true.
I think it. I'm okay with assuming it and not checking facts.
And just killing them.
I mean,
Nobody's done any Jedi mind trick stuff? Any spells to...
I mean, I can command one to explain himself, or maybe I cannot make him tell me all the truth, but I can break his knees. I can cast broken knees on the man or lady, but I would assume they are not up to good because of the way they were acting when they saw us in the city. It could be many of the apparently numerous organizations that want to see you doomed, but I think we do not want to be followed all the way to Karnath.
No, definitely not. Yeah, I would say our only choice is to either kill them or mind wipe them, or make them think that we are not the people.
Kill them.
I'm fine with killing. Let's kill them.
I go with killing them.
Okay.
Chrome's trying to grow as a person and not kill everything, but I mean,
It's hard.
It's hard.
It doesn't take much to persuade me.
So yeah, we gotta leave Metal Child out there as bait.
Oh?
Wait, what?
We had talked about dressing the metal child as Z-Pill holding the tiny baby and then hiding on the brush on the side and ambushing.
Yeah. I like that idea.
Because he's made of metal and he has a crossbow.
And we wrap the crossbow up in a little blanket.
Mm.
See?
Yep.
I'm back. I'm sorry if I was gone a little too long. I had to get up and walk around for a minute.
That's right. Understandable. Okay. So far, your plan is to go a little bit. Everybody else is going to hide. The metal child will hold their crossbow as if it's a baby, and then you're going to trap the people following.
Can you just use the undead gnome as a decoy?
Who is still kind of following you, yeah.
Here's
I mean, if y'all want to.
Yeah, I guess we could.
Yeah, that would be the same size and shape as a live gnome.
A dead gnome is usually the size and shape of a live gnome, yes.
Yep.
Yeah, that makes more sense, actually.
And hopefully it will be destroyed.
Yeah.
That's true. There you go. Everybody wins.
Except for the people we're about to kill. Okay.
All right, let's do it.
Hey, they win too. We're transporting them to another plane.
Boom.
Yeah, they get the luxury of being sacrificed to the sun god.
I mean, they might end up in the 9 hells, but, you know, who cares?
That's on
Not
them.
me.
Alright. So. Okay, so, So you're gonna command then the gnome to just kind of, in its cloak, kind of shamble along, and the rest of you are gonna hide in the woods and wait?
Are we hiding
Sure.
in woods?
Yeah, we're gonna hide on.
Because as you've gone into the onto the road a bit, you've actually gotten back into Singhorn Forest, which is a huge expanse of trees and underbrush, and even at middle of the afternoon here, it is still fairly shaded and quiet under the trees as you get away from the city. But there's plenty of places to hide, and the road kind of wanders a bit, so there's places where around a turn you can be hiding or something like that. So it's easy enough, is what I'm saying.
I mean, I'm down for hiding.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be very good at it, but I'm down for it.
Okay, then if that's what it sounds like the plan is, could everybody roll a stealth check?
Didn't somebody have pass without trace? No.
Not that I know of.
Oh, I think maybe somebody used to. Okay,
Druid.
never mind.
2.
Okay.
24.
Okay.
9 from me.
Okay.
I got a 16.
11.
All right.
Nope.
12.
12. Okay. Is that everybody? That is everybody, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so between a lot of you, you didn't roll the greatest as a group, but nonetheless, you've set your trap. Kind of settling into the underbrush and things, you're pretty sure. Most of you are pretty set. Looking across the way, like Roland, you can kind of see a little bit of Gundar's armor sticking out and things like that. But maybe it'll be okay, because they might not necessarily be looking if they're distracted by the decoy. But the decoy kind of just standing, shambling a little bit in the front or the middle of the road under the trees here. Just kind of almost walking in place. You all wait. And first, a minute or two goes by, and then 5 minutes, and then 10 minutes. And then you've been waiting for a good 25 minutes, half an hour. Does anybody want to... I'm assuming somebody really wants to keep their eyes peeled during this and kind of keep an eye out for who might be coming.
Yeah, I'm looking.
Okay, go ahead and roll a perception check.
Uh, 18. Wait. Hold on. 24.
24. Okay. It's not much longer than that, maybe around the 40-minute mark, that you hear wheels, wooden wheels on some of the stones and dirt of this road coming around the corner. of the big wide turn in the road that you had hidden after. And you see a good-sized cart with 4 wheels, fairly long, stacked with things with this big canvas tarp tied down tightly over it, and a couple of elves with 2 oxen in front of the cart, driving the actual cart. And as they come near the undead gnome that you all have set out as a decoy, they kind of look over strangely and say, "Are you all right there?" And the gnome, of course, just kind of continues to kind of barely walk forward, kind of just shambling in place. And then slowing up a little bit, they say, "Oh, not a talker then. Okay." And then the oxen start driving forward again. A little bit after that, you see, not too long after that, you see a group of more elves on horses ride through. It looks like maybe minor nobles of some type, the way they're dressed, fairly nice, but they don't have a large guard or anything with them, so you assume not the best, maybe well-off tradespeople, things like that. And they do the same kind of thing, kind of looking over, looking at each other, and then continuing on. And then you get up to waiting for about an hour. And you still haven't seen anybody who looks like they're really that interested, or that looks like they're looking for you.
Yeah, I'm just gonna break out of the hiding and be like, "Okay, guys, it's not working.
I don't think they're
I don't
coming.
think they're following us yet. Maybe they just went to report back and say which direction we were going or something, or say that we were leaving town. But we can keep an eye out. But I don't want to wait here any longer.
Yeah.
What do y'all think?
Yeah, I guess we start traveling.
Could Casilda keep an eye out or fly, when we need her?
I can scout around right now, but I'm blind when I'm using my bird.
This is true. So it's up to you. You can scout around a little bit right now and see what you see.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and do that.
Okay. Go ahead and make a perception check for Casilda then.
14.
Okay. As Casilda goes into the air and kind of does a lazy, slow circle around your area, especially paying attention to the roadway along, she does see some people maybe within about a few minutes of you coming up from the city. And she also glimpses as she goes out the tail end of the riding party of nobles or whatever that had passed a few minutes ago going the other way. But she doesn't see much else. The people coming up towards you from the city look like another small, this time a trading caravan. It's like 3 smaller carts all together. Once again with like canvas tarps tied down, things like that. It doesn't seem that ominous or anything like that.
All right. I'll relay what I see.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's safe to continue.
Yeah, totally safe. No worries at all. We're totally in the clear.
Alright. Well, if y'all want to continue traveling, it's... Roland, you would know that it's going to be about... Oh gosh, how many days? About 4 days of travel on the road from Singorn to Karna. It would be more if you try to travel through the wilderness. It would be harder to find you in the wilderness, but the road is quite a bit quicker.
I'll tell the group that.
Okay. What do y'all think? The quick way or the more Heidi way?
Well, I feel like the bounty for us is specific to Seymour, or was issued. Well, no, it was issued by
yeah. They have ties everywhere,
the
but
crime people.
this is just my opinion. I think we should just go balls out and just go fast.
I agree.
Me
Fast
too.
places on the road.
All right.
So I'll go with the group, but yeah.
Well, it seems like so far, most of the group says yeah.
I am agreeable.
Yep.
All right. So
Why don't we have horses?
I left
We should get some mounts.
I left Trample Stamp somewhere. He's probably dead. I don't know.
Yeah, you had a war horse.
I had a nice war horse. I thought we were coming back through that way, but we didn't. I don't know.
that's right. Trample Stamp was left in the Emerald. Oh gosh, the Emerald Outpost. The Emerald Outpost, where you had seen the Taldore and the Elven army in kind of a weird standoff, and then you
It's
had found,
probably been towed by now.
it's probably been towed, yeah.
Yeah.
You also at that point had a cart and 2 other horses, but then you found your way into the Underdark.
We don't keep up with our stuff.
I mean, it's been a few months. I mean, I'm sure someone's taken them in.
That's why I keep my bunny in my bag. Or somewhere. I don't know where I keep my bunny, but I don't leave it.
You have a bunny?
Yeah, I have an Almirage.
Yeah,
Marlin Bundo.
it's like a bunny.
It's like a bunny with a unicorn.
It's a bunny corn.
Crown, you have not felt a slight squish anytime when you sat down, correct?
No. It's fine.
And it can teleport, so if it's gonna get squished, it probably just.
Yeah, would pop out. Yeah.
That's true.
See? And I show him my bunny.
And she shows you, it's just as she said, a bunny with a unicorn's horn on the head that just kind of looks around and sniffs as she brings it out of the bag.
Well, that looks delicious. Crumb, maybe put it away.
Okay.
Fair.
I have a pet as I pick up mine.
And there he is, just holding up a gnome.
We need to speak about that at some point.
It's
And
getting
then I have
slimy
another
at this
challenge.
point.
Yeah, it's like here in the forest, it's a little bit humid, and the charred flesh has started to take on kind of a slightly drippy appearance.
While we're having downtime, I'm gonna just start wrapping him in bandages.
Fair. I mean,
It's a little late for that, dwarf.
That way, any extra flesh doesn't just fall off.
that's fair. I mean, he had been losing quite a bit, but I mean, you were able to wrap him in bandages well enough. Looks kind of, maybe like he, had left a leper colony or something like that in an advanced state. But doing all right, I guess.
No, he don't care. It's all right.
That's true. In any case, moving on, you can make a few more miles in the day before you'll have to either bed down for the night or take a point of exhaustion if you're going to keep going all night. It's up to you.
I think we should bed down.
Yeah, I'm cool with doing the miles and then chilling in our tent thing.
Okay.
Our hut.
The magical hut. Okay. That's easy enough. Make it a few more miles before the sun's going down. You set up your hut your magical hut a little off the road. Would anybody like to keep watch for the night? Cyrithus?
Sure, I will.
Or no? Alright, yeah.
I will too, since I don't sleep.
True. Okay, could each of you just roll a perception check for kind of your watch?
I got an 8.
8, okay. Consider this.
16.
16. Alright, Gundar, just looking around for just the first part of the night, you see some other parties along the road, you know, either it looks like trading caravans or sometimes just single or couples of riders going back and forth, just because you're just set up a little bit off the road in Lehman's tiny hut. But not much going on. Later in the night, Cyrithus keeping an eye out, the traffic really dies down, but you see like a good-sized snake slither by, really near the hut, like maybe about 12 feet long. You're not quite sure what kind, but it doesn't look friendly. But it doesn't pay the hut any mind anyway, and it wouldn't matter anyway because you can't get inside. But the night passes fairly uneventfully. You all get a long rest, so if you need that, please mark it down. And waking up in the morning, you continue on your journey to Karnath. I need somebody to keep an eye out for the day, so if you could please roll a perception check. Roll in, let's say, this time.
Okay. 16.
16. I mean, you know this place, an area of the forest fairly well. You had made this journey many times in your youth, going back between your hometown and the capital, either for government functions because your parents were involved, or because you just later on because you just wanted to have a good time, and the capital was more interesting. But you don't see a whole lot out of the ordinary. Coming near the end of the day, you realize that you're getting near as this is, you're not quite halfway, but getting close to halfway-ish to Karnath, that you're near a tavern that you know of on the way called the Lovely Dwarf. And near sundown, not quite to sundown, but the sun is starting to dip below the horizon, you come around a corner and you see a large, low stone building with a thatched roof. A couple kind of cottage-looking buildings on either side that that they rent out for travelers. But this, as the tavern, the Lovely Dwarf. And it seems like it might be a nice place to stay for the night, but it's up to you.
I get visibly excited.
Okay.
This is a nice tavern, but I'm thinking if there's a price on our head, they're going to know me in there. So maybe we should just set up in our tiny hut tonight.
I could always just go in, cabin without y'all, showing.
You can go in and maybe you can get some information to see if anybody's after us.
Yeah. Or I could pretend to be the one after you.
True.
As a dwarf, they might be willing to talk to me.
True.
What did everybody think?
Yeah, just if you could stay vague about it and just say are there any bounties out for anybody y'all heard about? I'm a bounty hunter looking into, I don't know.
Yeah, that was kind of the card I was going to play.
Yeah, do that.
Okay. So heading in then to the Lovely Dwarf. Gundar, you find yourself pushing through into a surprisingly cheery kind of atmosphere. Like I said, it's a low stone building, but fairly wide, maybe 50 feet across by about the same. It's a good square-shaped building. Maybe a half dozen tables scattered throughout, other people milling about, a basic bar near the back left corner, as well as a back door that seems to lead out that same way. Looking in as your eyes adjust quickly to the lower light inside, you see that every single person in here is an elf, including the bartender behind the bar.
My excitement from earlier immediately is gone.
Okay. What would you like to do?
Now, I'll walk up to the bartender.
Okay.
And I'll just order a routine mead, and make small talk. Ask them. I'll start off about what's up with their advertisement. Why are they called the lovely dwarf, but there's no dwarves here other than...
Right. So as you walk up, you see a female elf behind the counter. Seems to be serving. As you walk up, she says, "Well, welcome. My name's Sana. It's nice to see one of you in here. Do you get the joke? There's no such thing, right? That's the joke. There's no such thing as a lovely dwarf. Do you get it?"
Boom.
I mean, she seems to think you should be in on the joke, but yes.
So I'm gonna just go ahead and roll an intimidation check.
Go for it.
As I kind of just I'm getting visibly more and more irritated.
Yes.
Let's see. There we go. Wow, I hate these virtual dice. I'm not using them no more.
Don't, like I said, yeah.
I'll keep that one, but I'm gonna change dice. That's a 10.
A 10. Okay. As obviously, you're very obviously getting upset by this. As you should be, and as several other, another patron down the bar just kind of chuckles as she says this, and you've attracted the attention of several different tables of people around. And as you kind of try to stare her down, she just kind of waves you away and starts going to help somebody else down the bar.
Sorry, I'm trying to get new dice.
That's okay.
But I am still listening.
Yes. As you're sitting here, roll a perception check just to see what you see around the bar.
Let's see. Perception is 0, so a 17.
All right, 17. Looking around, you see that there's maybe about 3 tables with good groups of people kind of gathered around. One seems to be where there's several people playing cards and some people standing around watching them. Another is just some people talking and drinking. But with a 17, you see, it seems like several people from around the room are just watching you. In fact, one person in particular, down the bar a ways, a couple people down the bar, just sitting there, seems to be watching you, and while they put their cup up to their mouth every once in a while, they don't seem to actually be drinking.
I up on the bar to get the attention of the bartender.
Okay. She walks back up, just kind of annoyedly.
I lay a couple of gold pieces on the counter, and I tell her that I am a bounty hunter that has been tasked with finding a wide assortment of different bounties. And basically I start coming up with, I'm looking for a dark elf by the name of, I don't even know dark elf names. Insert generic
Okay.
dark elf name. That I'm looking for a human by the name of generic
Yeah.
human name.
Okay.
And then I also say that I'm also looking for this small group of people. And I say one of them's some kind of giant with a lizard person and some gnome. And I'm basically just asking if they've heard about any sightings. Do they have any leads?
Okay. Asking this, like, as you say that last part, some recognition dawns on her face and says, yes, the group playing cards over there, they're looking for the same group. It's amazing. Are they worth?
Really?
Are they worth a lot? It seems like they might be. In fact, you're not the first group this week to come through. Besides the two, you and that group over there. There's been lots of people looking for them.
Well, I was under a false premise that I was the only one hired for this job. I guess I was wrong.
Well, that's the way it is with bounties, I suppose. I don't know.
Suppose so.
I personally don't do that, so.
So I add another gold coin and thank them, and I get up to leave.
Okay.
But when I do leave, I want to exit. I would like to exit, but stop at the doorway. And wait.
Okay. As you get up to leave from the bar and turn towards the front door, you find that the game of cards over there has stopped, and two of the people from it have moved their way over to the door. Another four people have kind of ranged themselves out kind of in a semicircle around you.
I would like to take this time to mentally communicate with my little undead gnome that I left outside with the rest of the group.
Yes.
And I would like it to start panicking.
Okay, and the rest of you, as suddenly the undead gnome that's just kind of standing there swaying back and forth a little bit, just starts to suddenly look around and just wave its arms and panic, which is odd because on its face there is no panic, but in its motions, definitely panicking.
That's disgusting.
I mean, it is.
Let's
You
put
know.
it out of its. Let's put it out of its misery.
You get the sense that something is going wrong very suddenly, though.
Trying to tell us something, boy?
Did someone fall in the well?
Did somebody fall in the well? And in fact, that's where I'm going to leave today's game. Is the panicking. Gundar has been surrounded inside the bar and seen.
I have made a horrible mistake.
Maybe, I don't know. Loose lips sink ships and all that, you know.
You mean just necromancy in general?
No.
I will go ahead and tell you, I'm not a necromancer.
No, I know.
He's just, you know. Zippo has what's the word I'm looking for? Principles.
Ideas.
You'll lose those eventually.
Exactly.
Yeah, like just, some people just know some necromancy spells or might be necro-curious.
Don't kink shame me.
That's right.
Hey, I've had my share of zombie thralls in this game.
That's true.
I remember Beyonce.
Yeah, there's... I'm not going to talk about that right now, actually.
Yeah.
There's...
Well,
I mean, Beyonce, you just left out. Well, actually, you released Beyonce out into this forest.
Yeah, I've had a few zombies and skeletons that at the end of their time I just released them back into the wild.
I mean, that is ethical, at least. You know.
Yeah. Like, oh, there's a couple of hours left on the spell, and we can't take you with us. So I just commanded them to walk in that direction, and don't stop.
You pulled a Wolverine Origins. Just start walking until you can't walk no more.
Yes,
And then walk
yes.
some more.
Sad music. Okay. Well, anyway, is 2 weeks good for everybody?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Fine.
Good game.
Awesome. Thanks. It was great meeting you, Andrew. Hopefully, sometime in May
Yeah, you
we
too.
can all actually be in person again. Let me know when you all get your second doses.
Sure
I'll
will.
have to check on the next session because it might be a Sunday that now I have to work, but I'll let you know.
I know they're switching our schedule, so we have to work some Sundays now. So it's a pain, but we'll figure it out.
Okay.
All right, guys. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep. Talk to you
Later,
later.
Rob.